Hello, hello, welcome. It's me, Coach Marlene Cole. This is how to meet a man on your level, finally, for professional women. I should be streaming on most of the platforms. So, hi, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Today is going to be short for real. So, I do these every Sunday. I work to do these every Sunday, and I always say I'm gonna keep it short. But last week went a little long, so this week I want to be mindful of your time so that you can watch the replay. So let me jump in, introduce myself for those who are new to the show. My name is Marlene Cole. I am a life and relationship coach. I am a master energy coach, and I coach women, single women 40 and over, who desire to be in a loving, healthy relationship that leads to marriage. And that's what I do. So I want to come to you live tonight. Come on in. If you're here, put it in the chat. Let me know you're here, where you're from. And if you're watching the replay, let me put in replay so that way I can just shout you out and thank you for watching. Tonight is not really planned. Usually I have my notes up on the side, but tonight I just want to talk, and I'm going to be watching my time. But I'm gonna do my. This is really just going to be my rant, right? So I usually start off with a rant, but this is tonight is just going to be my rant. Um, Really, tonight I want to talk about marriage. I want to talk about love and marriage. And so a lot of my clients, probably over 50% of my clients, come to me have never been married. Other half have been either in very long-term relationships that ended, or they have been divorced before. And so I have three category of women that I service: those who have been in marriages or long-term relationships 5 years or more, and the relationship ended and they have not re-entered the dating world; those who've never been married before and haven't dated in over a year. And then I have my dating dabblers, who they date, they go out, they meet men, they get into short-term relationships, but nothing has turned into a long-term committed relationship. So they struggle to get into the commitment phase. And one thing I think has been I don't know, how would I say it, right? I think it's been amplified. And a lot of times it's here's what's been amplified, in my opinion, is not getting married, how marriage is not like the golden standard of relationships, how people rather like you lose your kind of like you lose your all of your independence when you get married, or your life becomes harder when you get married. And so I've been seeing a lot of that, and I actually have been hearing a lot of that. So sometimes during my kind of, I call them sales calls, but really they are kind of like my consult calls to see for women who want life coaching, and we just talk through certain conversations to see if they're a good fit for the program, for me to get a better understanding of where they're at and to see if I can help them. And so we come up with a plan right there on the call to see if my program will be a good fit and what specific things we would do for them. And so on these calls, we really kind of dive in deep to like what's happening, what's been happening, and where do you want to be. And one of the top things, I say one of the top three things that comes up is how I do want to be married, but I don't want to lose, right, my life. Basically, I don't want to lose my independence. I don't want to have to, lose myself in a marriage. I don't want to regret, being with somebody. I want to make the right decision. I don't want to ruin all the things that I have worked so hard to build for myself. And I totally understand that, because marriage is it is how would I say it? It is very life changing, right? It's not like a job where if you get a job and you don't like it, you can just bounce, right? It's like, psh, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice and I'm up, right? Marriage is a much more serious commitment, and it does impact your life. It does change your life. And I was editing this will come out this week, a video on how life is. People want to be married, but they don't want their life to be changed. They want a loving, healthy relationship, but they don't want their life to be changed. And so really you can't grow without change. And again, this is my rant. It's not It's not in a specific order, but you really can't grow without change. Think of a time when you really wanted to accomplish a goal. Yes, you took certain action, and most people just focus on the action that they're taking. And they're missing the part, the biggest, the most important part, which is who they are becoming by taking these steps in obtaining this goal. And so that's how I see marriage. And so this new video, it's not just a video, it's many videos. My young niece sent me one. It was like, married people, would you do it again? And I'm like, hell yeah, right? I would absolutely do it again. I mean, I'm still married, and I've never faced a divorce. But the thing of it is what it's not like I've had the easiest and the best marriage either, right? And not the worst marriage either. My husband and I have had the natural ups and downs, which people don't talk about. And that's why tonight I want to talk about marriage, and I want to talk about, demystify it for a little bit, right? So I just want to just rant a little bit. So flow with me. Let me know if you're flowing with me. Tonight is about marriage and really demystifying the fact that your life will change, and it must change. With or without marriage, your life must change. Either you change or you die, right? Either you grow or you die. That's just a natural law in the universe. And so marriage is really there to help you grow. Marriage is there to help you change. It is there to challenge you. It is there to help you see more of who you are. And so when my niece sent this in the group chat, like, married people, would you redo it again? And it was this lady who was saying she wouldn't. I think she was still married and saying no, she wouldn't. And I'm like, yeah, I would, because I would have never, I can't see, right, how I would have become the woman I am today without being married and being married to my husband. And one thing I say is that I only thing I wish I would have done if there was like a repeat thing, I would have spent more time understanding our differences. So we connected on where we're like, and this is 90, 99, 100% of people, right? They connect on where they're alike. They connect on where they agree. But then when marriage comes and the doors are shut, I always say it's like your honeymoon night. Somebody came into the house and painted all of your issues, all of your shortcomings, all your insecurities, all your failures on the wall. And they did the same for him. Things you weren't even aware of. And so when you walk into your home after the honeymoon is over, you really your blinders come off, right? And you start seeing this person's insecurities. They start seeing yours. You start seeing your own insecurities, right? You start seeing your own triggers and where you don't communicate well. And for me, I'm going to specifically talk about my marriage. Is like I noticed, like, after a year or two of being married, like, I did not handle conflict very well. So to the point that when my husband and I got into really now what seems like petty arguments or disagreements, it wasn't even really an argument, disagreement or misunderstanding. I felt so deflated, so overwhelmed that I spent like the whole weekend in the bed. Like, I would literally cancel all our plans. And he was like, what is happening? Right? It's like, just because we had an argument, disagreement, don't mean you cancel everything. But I was immobilized by those things because I was never taught or never experienced how to have healthy conflict. When I was dating, guys, it was like we get into it. I didn't hear from him for 3 days. I didn't hear from him for a month or 2 months, or we ended the relationship. So when I got married and my husband was like, we had a little tiff, and he was like, okay, are we still going out? Let's go. We getting ready. And I'm like, I'm not going out with you. Right. He's like, what's happening? Right. So I never got a chance to learn how to really handle healthy conflict in such an intimate setting. And so I grew from that. And that's still not my strength, right? It's still not my strength. But I'm like, I don't see any other way I could have grown in being able to handle conflict, be able to communicate my needs, be able to set my non negotiables, be able to love through conflict, to be able to love myself when I'm falling short. No other relationship could have taught me that I can see. And so I think when I say that I wish took more time in the beginning when we were courting each other. Like courting, this old school term, but courting mean we had made the commitment to be together, to get engaged, to get married, right? I wish I would have spent more time understanding our differences, because that's where the rub comes after you get married. Not no, not so much in where you agree, it's where you don't agree. And how do you manage that? People talk about compromise. I personally don't believe in compromise, because to me, compromise means you give up a little bit, I give up a little bit. But you do that for a lifetime of giving up something you want, you begin to become resentful. Your dreams get shorter. And so I don't think that compromise is the right way to go in a marriage, right? And I think that's one way how people lose themselves. They lose their dreams. They forget about those big goals because they've compromised so much. And now they're blaming the marriage. Right? Marriage is horrible. You give up too much. I lose too much. But it's this word compromise. It's this conflict that we haven't learned to manage well and still get what we want. How do we both win or we don't play? That's kind of my motto. It's like we both win, right? Even if it's that point where it's like, okay, maybe we have two different things we want to do, and maybe we can't do both at the same time. It's like, okay, you go first, I go first, you do yours, I wait and do mine, but I'm doing mine and you're doing yours, right? It's not like, oh, you get some of your dream and I get some of mine. It's like, no, how do we work this out so we both win, not compromise who we are, what we want, because that gets old real quick, right? So when thinking about and demystifying marriage as this villain, I just don't agree. And I know that women have, and people, right? Men too have been in some very horrible marriages. People have been abused, people have been cheated on, right? It has been all type of things that have happened in their marriage. And my thing is, those things could have happened even if you weren't married. So it's not marriage, the union of marriage, that's the problem. It's if there is a problem, it's the individuals, right? Because marriage in itself is perfect. It's perfect because God made it. And so you have this, if you can see marriage as this circle, right? This circle, and then we come together are in relationship to this marriage that is perfect. We're bringing our baggage, we're bringing our insecurities, we're bringing our hurts and pains and limited beliefs and thinking, right? And so that what's make marriage tough in my experience, right? And so if you're in a relationship with a person who have problems with physical abuse, right? It doesn't mean the marriage is bad. It means he or she has an issue, right? And then you have an opportunity to grow from that challenge, right? You have an opportunity to not stay or to manage that abusive relationship, but to throw away the baby and the bathwater, say marriage is horrible, would never do it again. I think when people feel that and they've experienced that, is because they miss the point of what marriage is. And marriage is not about the other person, it's really about you. It's about you growing in a way that no other relationship can help you grow. I hope this is making sense. This is my rant. If you're watching, let me know if this makes sense. Let me check the chat. That's really good. Okay, Lee. So I really want to demystify that marriage in itself is wonderful. Marriage is not about the other person. Marriage is about you, right? It's about you growing. It's about you loving you more. It's about you learning to become love. I know there's been times where, like, my husband and I were just like not feeling each other. We're not feeling connected. And it's so easy for me to blame him. It's so easy to be like, oh my God, I married the wrong person. Oh my God, we are at our 7-year itch, right? But God has been like, and I'm like, Lord, fix him, make him love me, make him want to listen to me, or whatever it is, right? And God's like, no, how about I don't make him do anything? And how about you learn to become love? How about you show love to yourself? How about you show love to him? How about you be kind and patient first to yourself and then to him, right? And I think when we get this, right, when we get that it's not the other person. I can only control me, to me, which is very empowering, right? When I'm in a situation and I know that I have a choice and a power, that to me is the ultimate, because when I don't have a choice and there's nothing I can do, when I haven't done anything wrong and I can't change the situation, there's nothing I can do, think, or say that makes it better. Then I become a victim, then I become hopeless and helpless. That's what I call level one energy. And so that to me is like the ultimate no no, right? It's like, no, what am I doing to cause my own pain? What am I doing to cause this frustration? What am I doing to cause friction in this marriage? Because that's the thing that I can change, right? So it's like, I could have never become the woman I was today. I am today without our ups and our downs and us being happy and us not being happy together, right? And me wanting to leave, me like, oh my God, did I marry the wrong man? I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, like this girl, this girl, right? And so it's like, but God has blessed me to be able to look at me and to have women in my circle who like, Marlena, shut up, stop talking. Why are you interrupting him? Why, it's like when I'm telling them the situation, my friends are pointing out, like, yeah, that's not the way that goes. And so sometimes people don't have great role models in their lives. So they haven't seen a healthy relationship, or they've seen it and it's such at a distance, you don't know why it's working. Right. And because people don't talk about their marriage, people don't talk about the ups and downs, right? People only talk about it after the fact. And it's usually not about what they've learned. It's usually like, don't ever do it. And narcissistic men and blaming all the crazy women and entitled women. Right. But it's like, what role did you play? Right? How did I choose poorly? How did I not have my intuition when I married this person? A lot of times when I am coaching women and I'm especially divorced women, and women who've been in a long-term relationship, like 5 years or more, and the relationship ended, and I'm like, tell me about it, right? Tell me about, without reliving everything, tell me high level, how did you meet? Where did it go wrong? A lot of times it started going wrong before they even got married. But because they were so emotionally tied and had an erroneous thought that either I can change, he can change, or I can deal with it, right? Those are the three reasons people get married. They think they can change, they think he can change, or they think they can deal with whatever the issue is. That it only magnifies once you get married. So if you're dealing with a person that in that difference where it is a major difference, like, I'm gonna use something huge like infidelity, right? Some people are not meant to be married, right? Some people can't be satisfied with just one person. And so they may think that they can because they love this person so much, right? I think I can change. Then, and the woman or the man knows the other person is cheating and they're like, oh, I think I can deal with it. Right? And then they get married, and then 3 4 years it magnifies, right, the distrust, the heartache, the disappointment, the abandonment, right, the obsession of being with other people, right, it becomes too much. And so it's like, marriage is horrible. No, you chose improperly. You thought that you could deal with something. You thought that you can change. And so then we blame it on marriage, right? And then the people who are watching and looking behind us, we are discouraging them, right? Or if you're looking at other people's relationship, then you're feeling discouraged. I say don't do that. To the point, I'm in here. I had one client and she wanted to be married. She wanted a relationship, and there was a lot of resistance about things going wrong and having the wrong person. So I was like, well, has something tragic? I mean, to the point that I was like, has something tragic happened in your past? And she was like, no, not me, but I see it in my friends. And I'm like, okay, time out. Time out. Let's not compare your friend's relationship to what is going to happen in your life. And I think this is my point, right? That I'm making here. This is my point. Don't look at not my marriage, not people on social media marriage, whether it looks good or bad, because in marriage there's ups and downs, just like in life. When I was single, I had ups and downs, right? Nothing is different because I'm married. Only thing that's different is now that I have somebody else in my life that magnifies back to me what I need to work on, right? Let me get back to my story. So she was so entangled in other people's drama that it was impacting her ability to believe that she can truly have love. And so you can't watch other people, right? Especially when it's terrible. If you're going to get a role model for something you want, find somebody who's doing it the way that you would want it to be, not the opposite, because marriage in itself is beautiful, right? And yes, there's going to be hard times. Yes, there's going to be disconnect. Yes, there's going to be times when you think you married the wrong person. Yes, there's going to be times when you just want to be alone. And you do have alone time, right? Nobody's together 24/7, 365 days. You have time alone to be in a marriage, right? When you're in a marriage, you have time. That's a healthy marriage. Other than that, you're codependent on each other, and that's not healthy. And so I just say this to encourage all my single women, whether you've been married once, twice, three times, it doesn't matter. Love is possible for you. Whether you've never been married and you're 40, going on 50, or 50, going on 60, right? And you still desire love, you still desire intimate personal relationships so that you can grow, so that you can see another side of yourself, so that you can be in an intimate relationship with somebody that will have ups and downs, right? That is not going to always be happy. And you're okay with that. You're okay with creating a win, we win or we don't play type of mindset, not a compromise. I don't believe in compromising who you are, what you want, right? But it's like, if you want that, right? If you want to be connected with somebody at such an intimate level that when you're hurting, and they see you and they're there to support you when you're struggling or you're angry with them, you can look and see what is it about me, right? I think that is the greatest flex for me in a marriage, is that when I'm struggling and I'm blaming my husband, God has always turned that back and say, well, where is it in you that you're giving up your power? Where is it in you that you need to change, or do you want to give all your power to him? And I'm like, no, right? And so then there's opportunity for me to grow, because if we're not growing, we're dying. And yes, you can have this ability to grow as a single person, but it's not like when you're growing in a relationship. Trust me, I was single for most of my adult life and I did grow, but it's nothing like being in a marriage and knowing and having the knowledge, the wisdom, intuition to know the thing that I'm angry with is my husband, or the thing I'm angry with in my wife is not probably even about them. It's something that God is wanting to work out in me. And to me, that is the greatest flex. That is the greatest joy. I think love, no, I know love is the most powerful force in the universe, because it is the only force that you can, in energy that you can give away and never be depleted. There's always an infinity of it, right? So I leave you with that. I love you. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Peace.